Then finally, another provision in the 2014 Farm Bill allows for expedited treatment of our national forests suffering from insect or disease epidemics. We've talked about this before. It's a huge problem as a warming climate and persistent drought has allowed the bark beetle and now the spruce beetle to kill millions of acres of national forests. I want to thank you because very early on in the first administration, you actually came out to see this for yourself. I enjoyed partnering with Senator Thune to shape the provision. It gives the agency new flexibility to treat these forests while still respecting environmental laws and community involvement. As you've now received suggestions on which acreage to treat from 36 governors, including Colorado Governor Hickenlooper, can you talk about the next steps for the Forest Service, and can you discuss how you'll ensure the treatments are properly targeted so we don't trigger litigation objections from local communities?
These areas, in terms of the expedited NEPA process, are limited to 3,000 acres in size. We have received from the governors their recommendations. The Forest Chief Tidwell will be able to amplify or expand those recommendations with his own recommendations. The key here, I think, is to have the resources to be able to do the treatment necessary. And that gets back to this whole issue of how we pay for forest fires that have become more intense and longer and much more expensive. The reality is, not long ago, roughly 15 to 17% of our budget was on fire suppression. Today it's 40%. And that creates uncertainty. That's just why we have proposed and suggested a different way of funding fire suppression that would provide greater certainty in our forest budget, which would allow us to make commitments, specific commitments that we could guarantee and follow through with on these stewardship responsibilities. We're prepared to work with governors. We're prepared to move forward on these designated areas, but it will be much more difficult if we don't get a handle on how we pay for fire suppression. If we continue to do what we've been doing, treating it differently than other natural disasters, we're going to continue to squeeze the rest of the Forest Service budget, and it will be, the progress will be much slower than you would like. But if we could get a new system that isn't about spending necessarily more money, but spending it a little bit differently, creating greater certainty within that Forest Service budget, I think you would see accelerated efforts in these areas.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Madam Chair.